Hello, D-Live, BitChute, and Periscope. Adam Green here with nomorenews.org. Today is Thursday, December 3rd, 2020, and I have a ton of tabs open ready to share you all the latest news that I find interesting that I want to share with you guys. But first, make sure if you're not already, email address, subscribe to nomorenews.org, bookmark it, get away from social media and YouTube, add the icon to your home screen on your smartphone, and wanted to show I got a new YouTube channel up, No More News Clips, KMN Clips. So go to nomorenews.org, click here on the new YouTube channel, and it's been up for half a day, 48 subscribers, a couple videos up. Gonna headed back into the matrix to try to wake a few more people up and get them out of the matrix. Give them the real red pill, not the, oh, I'm vote for Trump instead of Democrats red pill that people are pushing nowadays. Also, there's in case you want to know when I'm having guests and upcoming shows, there's an upcoming shows area here, and you can see it's pretty small, but we have Tuesday, December 8th, 2020. That's this coming Tuesday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 Eastern, E. Michael Jones versus Christopher John Björknes. We are having a friendly, gentlemanly, scholarly debate on some controversial issues that should be incredibly entertaining, educational, and I know I'm looking forward to it, so I assume everybody else is. Let me see if I can get that. Here's this. EMJ versus CJB, 7 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday, December 8th. Don't miss it. It will be live on D-Live and then posted to BitChute. Get that down. Okay, now, also, so the new channel, no KMN Clips, links on the website. Make sure to subscribe to BitChute. We're coming up on 25,000, and on D-Live as well. We're about to hit 10,000 on D-Live, and I need some not just followers, but subscriptions in order to get the new partner program or whatever it is. So, but anyway, let's get started. First news, I want to cover the latest update on top psychological warfare, Zionist propagandist, Disinfo agent, Steve Pieczenik on Infowars once again doubling down on his QAnon theories about the election. Let's play this. So we're going to see him here. I'll just play it. Okay, I know you guys can't hear it. I got to change my settings real quick. Audio, speakers. Okay, here we go.
Doesn't stand up. If the electors on December 15th, Dr. Steve Pieczenik, don't say no to this fraud, then they will put Biden in, and Trump says he'll go. So if there is these watermarks and all this proof, and I believe you talked to those sources who told you, so I believe you're in good faith, I think you're a good person. When do we see the cards on the table? What's about to happen? Like, why would the White House, see, to me, this doesn't mean I'm important. It means the president's quadriplegic, politically cut off. Why would they get me to go after Soros and the Chi-Coms, and then it's true, we get the smoking gun documents, and it takes us 2.5 weeks to get it? Why? I mean, if they have this.
So somebody told him to focus on Soros and the Chi-Coms. That's clear.
Why?
Let me explain something. The one thing I do, and I've done in the past, and I've been involved with the Nixon transition. Remember, we had a quandary with Nixon. We had a Watergate situation.
He says we had a Watergate situation.
Involved, and I was involved in what's called a soft coup.
He was involved in a soft coup on Nixon. Remember the Nixon tape? What he had to say about the you-know-who's?
Transfer of power. Then we had Iran-Contra under Reagan, where we had
transfer of power. He specializes as a regime change specialist. This is the guy who's using his soapbox platform of Infowars to push his Zionist propaganda.
Done in the past, and I've been involved with the Nixon transition. Remember, we had a quandary with Nixon. We had a Watergate situation. We were involved, and I was involved in what's called a soft coup, the transfer of power. Then we had Iran-Contra under Reagan, where we had a problem. I had to be involved in that. We maintained that and quieted it.
Did you hear that? This guy is as swampy, deep state spook imaginable. Probably, I wouldn't doubt if he's connected with Mossad as well. In fact, I'm highly suspicious of it. But he just so openly on Infowars says, yes, I was involved with Iran-Contra. That's Oliver North and a lot of these same factions, these right-wing factions, Reagan, that are involved with so much stuff right now as well. And he just goes, oh, and I was involved with Watergate, and I helped that happen. And then I was involved with Iran-Contra, and I helped cover that out and quiet that down. This guy is a criminal.
A quandary with Nixon. We had a Watergate situation. We were involved, and I was involved in what's called the soft coup, the transfer of power. Then we had Iran-Contra under Reagan, where we had a problem. I had to be involved in that, and we maintained that and quieted it. What I've been told and
he maintained and quieted Iran-Contra. This is on Infowars, who always used to be like about exposing the government and the police state and martial law and stuff, and these deep state CFR agents like Steve Pieczenik here.
What I'm saying to you, and I appreciate the fact that you're getting very excited, but the reality is the game has already been played. What's happening is that Trump anticipated most of this. Trump actually, and the intelligence community really picked you as the source for which I was to announce what they wanted me to announce. And I'm not.
Okay, so he says the intelligence agency is using him as a conduit to use Alex Jones's conspiracy platform that he's built up as the king of kosher conspiracies and gatekeeping and disinformation at Disinfowars, Mind Wars, like Michael Aquino and Paul Valehi, like Expose the Enemy, exposed in his Judeo-Christian QAnon video. I'll put the link below. I can remember. I think I forgot that on the last one. But notice he goes back to Nixon, Reagan, the Bushes, just like Roger Stone. In comes Roger Stone and Steve Pieczenik to be pure Zionist propagandists.
You're getting very excited, but the reality is the game has already been played. What's happening is that Trump anticipated most of this. Trump actually, and the intelligence community really picked you as the source for which I was to announce what they wanted me to announce. And I'm not just a certain person or stooge because I don't get paid. I'm really not interested in promotion. I really don't garner anything other than being a citizen.
He's ignored. He goes, oh, I'm not getting paid, but he says he's working with all the intelligence agencies. His deep state, he brags about, we did a coup in 2016 and the good guys. And it's, what was I going to say? The other
really picked you as the source for.
Remember when Jerome Corsi said, oh, it was on Alex Jones' show, and goes, oh, I got the text message from above Mossad and Israeli intelligence, and they want me to break the information that Trump's getting the Nobel Prize for moving the embassy on your show. And I said, I'm going to break it on Alex Jones' show. And they said, great. Kosher, above Mossad, Israeli intelligence, Infowars approved. And that might explain why Alex Jones got his new website, banned.video. He admits it was created by an Israeli and given to him.
For which I was to announce what they wanted me to announce. And I'm not just a certain person or stooge because I don't get paid. I'm really not interested in promotion. I really don't garner anything other than being a citizen warrior. And you were chosen as the mainstream media as opposed to the New York Times, the Post.
You were chosen.
So although you're getting excited, what is happening all around you, Alex, is exactly what we expected. The New York Times is going under. The Washington Post is going under. Simon & Schuster is going under, and they're trying to make the best of it to make a merger with the other houses. At the same time, there are arrests being made in Florida. Over 300 to 700 people were arrested in northern Florida, southern Florida, in regards to this illegal activity and pedophilia. That's the other element that we've been looking at.
There's the QAnon angle. Remember, QAnon was promoted big time on Infowars early on, gave them total credibility, said that they're the intelligence. Jerome Corsi was there promoting QAnon. They pushed the almost identical narrative as QAnon.
The military has been.
Steve Pieczenik's always sharing QAnon people, SGT report, praying medic, all of these QAnon shills. Amazing Polly.
Been deployed all over the United States. We're quiet.
Nick calling, you are totally right. Matthew North would have been, I mean, it almost makes me suspicious given everything that's happening right now. Like Matthew North would be the person to talk to. I would be talking to him every day about this stuff. And yes, it's very depressing.
About it. And at the same time, I will guarantee you Biden will not become president of the United States because right now he's wearing possibly an ankle bracelet because he said he has a little bit of problem on his ankle. And
so now he's going full QAnon with the ankle bracelet.
He's twisted his ankle. I don't believe that's so. You might look at that problem. So in effect, what you're seeing now.
Oh, Doc, come on, Doc. Now that sounds like Q stuff. He's got an ankle bracelet. I mean, I hope so. I hope he gets a different type of bracelet, but.
Look, I can't get excited the way you can, Alex. That's the reason why I come on. I mean, this is not unusual for me. We've said it a long time ago.
Well, I want to believe you. So in 50 days, let me tell you this, buddy. I'm just going to, if you're right in 50 days, you are going to be the king of the planet to me.
And he may be somewhat right. I think that QAnon and Steve Pieczenik are real psyops, getting everybody to blindly follow the Zionist agenda in some total disinformation, psychological operation, mind war. Anyway, he admitted a lot there. You guys probably won't believe me that I said Alex Jones, an Israeli, built his website. So I'll just.
Now, the truth is, we know that Jews are a diverse group of views and ideas, and I'm not against Israel, I'm not against Jews. I'm not going to be sucked in to being in this whole thing, okay?
He's not going to criticize Israel. That's what he just said. The most powerful group, all the influence, all the people behind Trump. He's not going to get sucked into it, but then he still pushes his disinformation. And anytime he mildly criticizes Israel, he goes, I'm not against Israel. I'm not against Israel. Like, but he's not scared to expose the real power. Just, it's such a fraud, and all the people giving him any credibility and helping him build up his street cred and his reputation are shame on you.
I mean, the ADL now is not even really pro-Israel. Because the
ADL's not pro-Israel. That's the narrative this traitor spins.
Understand, this is about globalism. So I don't think the ADL represents Jews. There are a lot of good Jews. I've had Jews help me out with things. I mean, Band.Out Video was designed by a guy from Israel, great guy. He didn't like us being censored, helped us build it.
There you go. You thought I was joking? A guy from Israel, an Israeli, built his website and gave it to him. Listen.
And then was like, here, it's done, have it.
Here it's done, have it.
I mean, there's so many examples. I'm not going to have the ADL trick me into hating Jews because they make money off that.
Yeah, and that's
the game. Nobody has any reason to get mad at Zionism and the Zionist agenda. That's just an ADL trick to get you to think that they're behind anything. It's all the Chi-Coms. It's all the Chi-Coms. And the Democrats and Hillary Clinton and Soros. Just so shameful. And I had another clip up now, and I'm forgetting what it was. It's QAnon, Alex Jones and QAnon. I'll bring that back up. But here he is, Steve Pieczenik. He says, ooh-wee, I think is how you pronounce that. Ankle monitor, Biden concede now. He's claiming that, look at this gif, that Biden's ankle bracelet is really a monitor. Full-on QAnon type of stuff. He's constantly promoting, oh, here we go. He's constantly promoting Praying Medic. Praying Medic, one of the top biggest QAnon promoters, who says that he has these visions in his sleep and stuff, and he's a prophet type of nonsense. He says 3 terms it is. They're always floating this idea of like Emperor God King Trump. Like, he's the leader and he's our king, they always call him. 3 terms it is. Steve Pieczenik says, I like it. I like it. He's not a fan of the Constitution and laws in America for term limits. So that they want dictator Trump is apparently what I see so many of these Trump shills pushing nonstop. Now, okay, let's play the clip. I got to find it again. How can I do that? Maybe, editing, export of videos. QAnon, Kushner. Here we go.
It's not a hoax. What's happening now, and the reason I couldn't come on the Alex Jones show.
So this is like the day after the election. This is when he pushed this idea that the whole election is a sting operation. They've got secret watermarks on the ballots.
Last night I was not given the permission that I needed to in order to say what I'm about to say now. I do not work for the federal government. I'm not paid by them.
So you don't work for them. You're not paid by them, so you're just working with them out of goodwill, I guess, to help the cause for Zion, to help promote the idea of a Kushner presidency.
Let me just say again what I said in 2016. There are honorable members of our intelligence, military, and civilian community.
White hats, QAnon.
In the government who understood exactly how corrupt Biden and the Democratic machinery was, and will be. This is really a sting operation. Contrary to what everybody else said, Trump knew this was happening. Eric knew this was happening and warned the public. I knew this was happening. However, I could not say anything about it. What happened was we watermarked every ballot with what's called the QFS blockchain encryption code. In other words, we know pretty well where every ballot is, where it went, and who has it. So
it would be smart for them to do something like this. He claimed, this is a month ago, he claimed that they had, that the arrests were already starting.
This is not a stolen election. On the contrary, we reversed the entire game of war along the lines of Sun Tzu, the art of war. And Trump was brilliant and still is brilliant at it. The reason he hasn't been seen, and Alex correctly said, oh, I haven't seen him in several days. Well, in the art of the war, you pull back, allow your enemy to make all the mistakes that they are making, manipulate the situation, expose them, and then come in for the fine. Thousands.
I don't want to, I don't.
Fourth,
So this is 2016. He claims he did the same thing. Watch this. Does he get dragged in front of Congress for collusion?
Anyway, this has been a setup by Trump for a long, long time. In the same way that we knew about Hillary Clinton, I warned about the coup that we would do a counter coup, and this is our counter coup again.
And we decided that there was something we had to do in order to save the republic. So we initiated a counter coup through Julian Assange, who's been very brave and really quite formidable in his ability to come forth.
And funny, now Assange has been in prison, and Trump pretends like he doesn't know what WikiLeaks is, even though election time he was saying he loves WikiLeaks. And I'm not saying WikiLeaks and Assange didn't collude, or they're not some types of agents. I've heard Russian agents, Israeli agents, all types of stuff.
And provide all the necessary emails that we gave to him in order to undermine Hillary and Bill Clinton.
Do you know which agency leaked the information to Assange? Because this is being...
I don't want to identify it. Do I know? Yes. Do I want to identify it? No.
But he didn't get dragged in front of Mueller's investigation the last 4 years. He didn't get attacked by the mainstream media for collusion. Roger Stone, Jerome Corsi did. There was leaked emails that they were colluding with top Israeli officials in Jerusalem, saying that they had to intervene or else Trump was going to lose, and that they've got the intel. And the mainstream media ignores all of that. Speaking of Jerome Corsi, let me pause here for a minute before I get to David Knight, who's calling him out. Let's see. Where's Jerome Corsi? You're getting a quick preview of everything I'm going to cover here to find Jerome Corsi. There he is. Here's Jerome Corsi talking about the plan, QAnon. He was one of the biggest QAnon promoters. He was the one that came on Infowars and got hired at Infowars to be the Washington correspondent at the White House press meetings. And he used to work at WorldNet Daily, ultra-Zionist media. We'll get more into them today. The daughter of the founder of WorldNet Media was working in the White House as the director of communications, pushing QAnon, promoting Trump, super Zionist, tied in with the Council for National Policy like all these people are, the right-wing evangelical Christian group. Note this is translated in Hebrew because that's who their audience is.
I wanted you to know that about 3 years ago, and this I'd like everybody to kind of hear, even in the back. About 3 years ago, a group of generals came to me, and it was explained to me they were ready to conduct a coup d'etat. They were ready to move Barack Obama from office, the military force. And then a few weeks later, I got another call and said that they were reconsidering. You know why they were reconsidering? Because they talked to Donald Trump.
Notice he says he got a call, kind of like how he gets text messages from above Israeli intelligence, and we'll play that clip later. Played it many times.
And Trump agreed that he would run. And they agreed if he would run, they would conduct their coup d'etat as a legitimate process, rooting out the traitors within government.
Legitimate process with Cambridge Analytica and Robert Mercer, who with Rebecca Mercer funds, his daughter funds, I believe, Breitbart, Rebel Media, Project Veritas. What's the other big one? Breitbart, Rebel Media. They're funding Parler as well, the new Twitter alternative. The Mercers, Bannon, Cambridge Analytica. That's how they got Trump elected. Not to mention co-opting Alex Jones, or I'm not going to say they co-opted him just then, but used Alex Jones. They built him up as a household name.
And that pact between the military and Donald Trump has held.
So many times Alex Jones has says it was the military, it was the Army and Delta Force and all these good people, these white hats that got Trump elected and told Trump to run, and that's who got Trump on my show.
QAnon is military intelligence. And
Alex Jones has said the same thing many times.
Close to Trump. And the intelligence we're getting really is a lot of the inside script. Now, everybody says Donald Trump is going to lose. He's going to be out of office. He's going to be impeached. You watch CNN, MSNBC, they're throwing a party today, and all the 20 people watching them across the nation are very enthused. Donald Trump will not be removed from office. He will not be removed from office.
They seem really...
And in the counterattack he's going to launch, there's a very simple word that describes what they are. Traitors. Traitors.
We got traitors on both sides, folks.
Capital crime. And I want to predict to you here today that when the tables turn, Donald Trump will be invoking military tribunals.
Martial law, military tribunals.
And even
Hillary Clinton will go to jail. So that's being translated in Hebrew. He says, the good guys are behind Trump. So here we have redacted FBI documents. This was not covered in mainstream media. The left and the Democrats are supposedly outraged by foreign meddling and collusion, but never talk about Israeli collusion. Here's redacted FBI document hints at Israeli effort to help Trump in 2016 campaign. Trump confidant, Roger Stone, being told by a Jerusalem contact, he is going to be defeated unless we intervene. We have critical intel. The key is in your hands. Jerusalem contact, going to be defeated unless we intervene. And media did not cover this. Only Jewish press. Jerusalem-based contact, high level. They blocked out all the names of the Israeli official, of course. It's a minister dealing with issues. Okay, the PM denies that they're connected to him, but of course they are. Prime Minister and names are redacted. Roger Stone and Jerome Corsi emailing with Jerusalem contact. I mean, there's your Israeli collusion right there. They don't even, why cover the secret collusion in emails when they're openly meddling with AIPAC and the lobbies and ADL, censoring any critic or any politician that goes against them. Even Obama just came out in his new book and he says anybody that opposes Israel in any way or criticizes them even mildly, their political opponent is heavily funded, just like Cynthia McKinney said. Okay. Oh, we got so much good stuff today. Okay, let's play the rest of this, though. The Kushner part. Man, I didn't realize the first 30 minutes would all be on Steve Pieczenik and Infowars.
We would do it counter to, and this is our counter to again against the Bidens. And that's exactly what we expected. The corruption in the mail, the corruption of USPS, corruption with the Democrats, everywhere and anywhere. There was no surprise here. And that's why we deployed National Guard soldiers to 12 different states. People will be arrested as of tonight. tomorrow, and it will go on for quite a while. And this was a total sting operation that I can say.
So
I will
explain.
not be by anybody else. I have the permission to say it. I do not deal with classified information, as you know. I do not work for our government, but because I'm loyal to the Republic.
Let me be very
Loyal to the Republic. Listen to, he says he's loyal to the Republic, and here we go.
frank. I have never been an aficionado of the Constitution.
Fan of the Republic, but's never been a fan of the Constitution.
I've never been an aficionado of the Constitution. The reason for it, it's outdated.
And Jones just keeps his little mouth shut, doesn't say anything when he says that.
What's happening now is we're coming into a new realism, a hyper-realism, where the states become more important. The devolution of power from the federal government, I told you, it's
hyper-normalization, kind of like Yuri Bezmenov, right? Or no, that's a documentary by Adam Curtis. What is it? Curtis Smith?
Happening very quickly. Except for one thing. The paradox is that Trump is very strong as a president. The subsequent president will never be as strong as Trump, because now he will make sure we're independent. We broke away from China. Our medicines are made in the United States. Our products are made in the United States.
So you need a strong leader to create the de-evolution of power back to the people, but then like Washington...
They want to make Trump a strong leader because he's going to give power back to the people. Just like, remember, Alex Jones says that, oh, yeah, Trump is with the Rothschilds and the Rothschilds are going to bring wealth back to the people. Literally says that.
The leader blows it up when he leaves.
No, because he...
Remember Trump and the last president? There's videos on YouTube. Go Trump last president. And there's predictive programming for 100 years ago. A president named Barron Trump, last president. And that's not the real family name. They changed it to that name and have been connected with Israel and Kabbalists their whole lives. Made men in New York.
I'm saying he blows up the strongman archetype. I'm just saying, like, watch. Yeah,
that's correct. It will go on.
They're literally pushing for martial law and for Trump to become a dictator. That's what they're pushing for.
From Pence, it will go on to Ivanka or Jared Kushner, and we will remain a viable country. And
listen to what he's promoting. The idea that we're going to have a Kushner presidency, a Chabad Lubavitch Kushner presidency.
A great country. I have no fear.
Jared Kushner can speak. He actually talks. He says Trump's kept his promises. I want to play some of these historic clips, though, of Jared Kushner. He speaks. He actually spoke from there at the dedication of the embassy that opens today. I can show you some of those photos. Put them up on screen. They're on Infowars.com, Newswars.com.
Oh, the embassy, Jared Kushner. Look at him with a gleam in his eye.
There's a good one there with Ivanka Trump. Embassy, United States of America, Jerusalem, Israel. Donald J. Trump, president. Michael J. Pence, vice president. In fact, I hardly ever do this. I'm going to play Kushner twice. Wow, why hasn't Kushner been speaking? He looks pretty authoritative, looks strong.
Kushner looks anything but authoritative and strong. Somebody told Alex Jones, promote Jared Kushner.
Got a nice gleam in the eye? Sounds nervous, but hey, man, get over it, bro. You come off strong. Hold on, let's talk about this more when we come back, because I don't want to run Jared down. He looks like a smart guy, good-looking guy. Clearly, they're grooming him to be president. Great.
Clearly, they're grooming him to be president. Great. Just like Steve Pieczenik just said, we're going to have a great country with President Kushner.
Clearly, they're grooming him to be president. Great. I don't want to run Jared down. He looks like a smart guy, good-looking guy. Clearly, they're grooming him to be president.
Like
great. Clearly, they're grooming him to be president. Great. But
Omen.
Jared Kushner, he's obviously smart. He's a good-looking guy.
I mean, how many times... he is a Kushner shill. People have tried to get him to criticize Kushner, and he won't do it. He defends him. I had a whole video, Alex Jones loves Jared Kushner. I had a whole nother compilation of him shilling for Netanyahu, too. But he just stays out of it. He's neutral.
He's Trump's son-in-law. I support Trump. I think Trump's smart. Trump needs people he can really trust. He trusts Jared.
And I work with a lot of people who are loyal.
Yeah, good point. Netanyahu used to sleep in Jared's bed when he'd visit. Well, Netanyahu was friends with Trump's dad in the early 80s and when he was the UN ambassador.
Loyal to this republic. including the 16 intelligence services, the Secret Service, our civilian service. They've all been great, and they've kept it quiet. And I've been given the permission to say what I've just said. I have nothing more to say, but this is not a surprise here. This is the biggest sting operation probably in our country that we've ever had. He has said repeatedly, hashtag steal the vote. That's exactly what he has said for months. Then he made a very clear...
Ali Akbar, the Infowars, is helped promoting the Stop the Steal. He got 60,000 from Mercer. I saw it was reported. Also, Rebecca Mercer, Zionist tech billionaire Robert Mercer's daughter, who funding Parler, that just happens to have a logo that looks like the Israeli shekel. And also, like I said, Breitbart, Rebel Media, and other right-wing Zionist media. Rebecca Mercer. They were behind Cambridge Analytica as well. Oh, where are we? Here we go.
Implication. He said, I will use common sense or my intelligence, i.e. both literal and figurative intelligence. And those of us in the intelligence community, be it who they are, again, what I said in 2016, when we exposed Hillary Clinton, we now exposed, and it was Trump who initiated this, Biden family. Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, Jill Biden, Jim Biden, Frank, the whole family was played right into a game where they were convicted, and you're seeing what's happening now. What was not announced was that we watermarked all the ballots with what I said at QFS blockchain, which is a very hard encryption code to break. And the second thing is we sent probably 20,000 or more National Guards 48 hours ago. None of it was reported, and I thank the press for not reporting it and others. So what in fact is happening is you're seeing a sophisticated sting operation that was initiated by Trump. I'm just a lowly peasant in this game, and nothing was said about it.
Steve, you've just broken certainly perhaps the biggest news since the election here on this show.
No, he's just a lonely peasant.
I have to play this out logically in my
Hey, fellow peasants.
head.
That's why I go on your show to basically, I keep
Well, I
signing
love you, Steve. I'd kiss you on the lips right now if it wasn't digitally.
Yeah.
But
Bet you
there's
would.
too many people watching us.
we're open like that. We're tolerant. But Steve, following your logic here, I mean, are arrests inevitably coming down the road?
Yeah. They're coming not just down the road, they're being implemented. What you saw Corey Wendowski and Pam Biondi saying when they were in Clay County and as well in Philadelphia, that was not just a threat. That was exactly what's going to happen. People will be arrested as of tonight, tomorrow, and it will go on for quite a while. And this was a total
Where are the arrests, Steve?
sting operation that I can say.
This was a month ago.
So
I will
explain.
not be interviewed by anybody else. I have the permission to say it. I do not deal with classified information, as you know. I do not work for our government, but because I'm loyal to the Republic, and I work with a lot of people who are loyal to this Republic, including the 16 intelligence services.
Remember who Trump put in head of those 16 intelligence services was Richard Grenell, the gay Christian Zionist who is a super close with the Zionist Organization of America.
Secret Service, our civilian service, they've all been great, and they've kept it quiet. And I've been given the permission to say what I've just said. I have nothing more to say, but this is not a surprise here. This is the biggest sting operation probably in our country that we've ever had.
For those of you who don't know me, I am Jewish. I came out of the diaspora. I basically am related to Rambam, and I was involved with, my family was involved with Begin and Jabotinsky. My rabbi, and it turns out to be a family member. From Tamsa, it will go on to Ivanka or Jared Kushner, and we will remain a viable country and a great country. I have no fear.
One, it's not a hoax.
So Rambam, a.k.a. Maimonides, top Chabad Lubavitch rabbinic sage, that pushed the Noahide laws. He's related to him. His family's connected to Menachem Begin and the Likud and the Irgun terrorists and the Netanyahu circles with Jabotinsky. Netanyahu's father worked for Jabotinsky, the militant Zionist. So this is such important information, what's going on with the Zionist takeover of our country. So it's funny, we have David Knight here, who has been a reporter at Infowars for probably like 10 years. He spoke out and called Pieczenik a CIA shill last month when he did this. And then now Pieczenik's back on, doubling down. He says, why is this lying piece of shit Pieczenik on Infowars again? Obviously, there's nothing I can do about it, but distance myself from this BS. Yeah, there's something you could do. You can expose Jones and come clean and forget about your NDA. Still pushing the sting. Arrests were to begin a month ago, he says. I say Alex Jones has been one of the biggest promoters of QAnon. Here's expose the enemies, Judeo-Christian neocon QAnon psyop exposed. Here's Robbie Martin trying to get in his DMs and talk to him. Pieczenik is entertaining, but a total liar. I'm not doing this to entertain people. The country is being destroyed. Here he is again. I won't have Pieczenik on my broadcast selling disinfo and trying to entrap me. But Pieczenik has a big YouTube channel that's not censored. Ask yourself why YouTube is okay with his disinfo. And I said, why is Infowars and Alex Jones always attacked, but Steve is ignored? But David Knight won't come on my show because he's not really about the truth. He's got his little NDA and he's afraid of the information I cover, although everything I have is completely sourced and reasonable. It's unreasonable to not cover it. Let's see what else I have here. This is what I posted November 6th, 3 days after the election. David Knight, libertarian, calls Steve Pieczenik a CIA shill who tries to trap and discredit Infowars. This is such a big deal. That's why I'm covering it all over again. That a longtime employee, a reporter at Infowars for like 10 years, David Knight, calls one of Alex Jones's #1 sources and longtime guests, Steve Pieczenik, a CIA shill. He's connected to Rambam Jabotinsky. I mean, there's really no question about any of this stuff. Here we go.
Question is this a sophisticated sting operation? Frankly, I don't think so. I mean, that's what Steve Pieczenik said, and I've seen this put out on some Q sites and other places. I have to ask the question: if is this fraud? I think it obviously is fraud. Did everybody know that there would be fraud? Of course they did. President Trump knew there would be fraud. So was this a sting? As Pieczenik was talking about this, he talked about a particular agency, CISA. But instead, we're supposed to believe there's some kind of Machiavellian secret plan that we should just trust while the U.S. burns in chaos. Maybe that is ultimately the plan. Look, I didn't jump into Pizzagate. I don't allow Pieczenik to come on this show because last time he came on this show was right after the shooting in Vegas. He came on this show to sell the lie that nobody died in Vegas.
Remember, it was Laura Loomer on the ground pushing, coming on Infowars and weaving their narrative.
Because he's trying to trap me. This guy is a CIA shill, and he comes on to trap us. That's one of
an Infowars employee saying that Alex Jones's top longtime guest is a CIA shill there to trap them. I mean, that's only the tip of the iceberg. He's a high-level disinformation, psychological warfare agent.
One of the ways that they discredit you. Because he's trying to trap me. This guy is a CIA shill, and he comes on to trap us. That's one of the ways that they discredit you.
Steve Pieczenik says, obviously that guy didn't do his research. Read my autobiography, American Warrior. Learn from a patriot, not a dweeb. This guy who's not a fan of the Constitution and was involved with Nixon and Iran-Contra and Israeli peace deals in the 80s and regime change, and worked under Henry Kissinger, which, by the way, I got a Henry Kissinger. Henry Kissinger gives Biden top award. Biden's getting all the Zionist awards too. Either way, they win. Either way, they win. Both sides controlled by the Zionists. Here we go. Where is it? Editing videos 2. Where is Biden? Oh my God, I've been downloading so many videos. Biden. This is titled World Jewish Congress. Biden gets top Theodore Herzl Award from Henry Kissinger. Henry Kissinger's in with Trump as well. Henry Kissinger, who said that there's a war between Jews and non-Jews in the White House. Kissinger describes the atmosphere within the Trump White House as a war between Jews and non-Jews. There you go. Anyway, so yeah. They're pushing this end times stuff, this biblical Trump. The narrative is continuing. We have, this was retweeted by, Steve Pieczenik. God is on your side, Lynn Wood, he says. Prayer shake. He liked this. It's going to be biblical. The war between the sons of light and the sons of darkness. This is what they're pushing right now. Steve Pieczenik, who brags about his ancestry, his lineage of the Maimonides, who says that Jesus is idol worship, is posting on Twitter pictures of Jesus with his arms around Trump, trying to, he doesn't believe any of that stuff, yet he's trying to do anything he can. It's Jews trying to use Christians to support their Zionist candidate. That's why America has been taken over by Israel and Zionist power, is because of the Christian Zionists. I say it every show. They are going to rule the world, using deception on Esau, and then they're going to subjugate everyone in the end after the big biblical end times war. So this is the narrative, some of this stuff we're seeing right now. What is this video? Oh, let's get rid of that. And I could play the Alex Jones QAnon stuff, but you can just take my word for it that maybe not. We'll play.
I think it should be said.
So should we trust Q and trust the
poll? No.
Rob Dew, Infowars, longtime director, and Jason Burmis, a total Zionist gatekeeper, shill, coward, bitch.
The one that said he talked to Q. You know he said that, Rob. You know he said that on air. He said, I talked to Q, okay?
He's did. Right here, though.
Who, Jones?
Yes.
And I was separately told this by QAnon. So I'm going to say again, I've talked to QAnon.
100%.
I think that was a joke when he said he
No, he was dead serious about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, listen, that was not a joke. And that's the other thing.
We've been attacked by Q.
Listen, I'm not... Do you think I believe in Q? Do you think... Hold on. Do you think that every video I've done regarding Q...
Debunking
is
Q?
Not only debunking it, telling people not to believe in...
Real.
Okay, here we go.
Real.
He's making a joke when he says that.
No, that he didn't. It was during a rant talking about Trump, and then he said, I talked to Q, okay? I don't think it was a joke, man. It was not in a joke context.
Okay.
All right?
QAnon is totally real. QAnon is totally real. As Zach and our, Cape Canaveral sources and Space Command sources have pointed out, and people...
Cape Canaveral, Space Command, the Geospatial Center. God, I wish Matthew North was here right now. He's the one that put me onto a lot of this stuff and had these clips. Some of these clips came from Matthew North. They might even have his watermark on them still.
Make jokes about that, but that's the 18th agency. You're here. This is big. We'll be right back on the other side with our real QAnon. Stay with us. QAnon.
Amazon?
I know you know QAnon's identity. But
yes,
obviously we're not going to, and I've confirmed as well, QAnon is a group in the Pentagon.
And very close to Donald Trump, military intelligence, specifically Army intelligence, I believe. And I
did a whole video about this. Is Alex Jones a government agent? Delta Force, psychological operations out of Florida.
I've affirmed
working with what, the people who run the monitored 8chan. QAnon has been using the same trip code, the same IP addresses for his devices. It's the same Q from the very beginning. And when we were decoding him, it was so bizarre. We were decoding
But
Q.
see, you're playing coy here. You know QAnon, so do we. Let's just leave it at that. The point is that Zach is part of the same group, but he's with NASA, and that is the beginning. And QAnon said that 2 weeks ago, and we know who QAnon is, and we play coy about that, but it's Army intelligence and some groups in Florida and others.
Real quick, I was listening
Florida, Special Operations Command out of Florida.
to Dr. Corsi last night and about all the stuff on 8chan and how releasing, I mean, is that kind of like the ace in the hole, to get
I've been told by 5 different Pentagon sources, high level, that whole 8chan thing is real and that they're basically forecasting what they'd like to see happen and giving you information. But so that's definitely real, and that's why Corsi...
Yeah, look at Florida. Mar-a-Lago, Laura Loomer is the GOP candidate for Senate. We got that's where Roger Stone's at. That's where Ron DeSantis, the governor there, is a huge Zionist. Flew to Jerusalem with Sheldon Adelson to sign a bill in Jerusalem, making it illegal to criticize Israel on on public schools. There's also Sheriff Israel, who has there's articles about him in Talmudic quotes, friends with Roger Stone.
He's been, I'll let you know because the enemy knows. The White House directly asked Corsi to be on the 8chan beat a month ago. So, and that's directly from the White House.
And it's funny because QAnon at one point said that Alex Jones and Jerome Corsi are Mossad agents, and Jack Posobiec too, who's connected in with all this stuff, top Zionist network. And then Alex Jones and Corsi said, Q's anti-Semitic. Q's been taken over, it's anti-Semitic, but they're still pushing the same narrative.
Dr. Corsi is so smart. And then one other thing,
but I mean, what does that say about QAnon? Whether it's, I mean, we're being told by the White House, please cover this. So what does that tell you?
QAnon started.
The White House told him to talk about QAnon and cover QAnon. That's what Alex Jones is saying. And, what was I going to say? Telling him
right as I was finishing the book, he started posting.
I was going to say Trump refuses to denounce and disavow QAnon. He says, I hear that they don't like pedophiles and they like me a lot and they love the country. He endorses them. He pretends like he doesn't know what they are. They laugh about the QAnon Disinfo psychological operations campaign.
And so that the lunch was
which is probably connected to Kabbalah, the dark to light, the whole messianic age, no more debt, no more wars, Trump as the Moshiach ben Yosef figure. Dark to light, the one of the mantras, one of the catchphrases of QAnon is all about Kabbalah, dark to light, the war of the sons of light and the sons of darkness.
Recruit me to get me interested in following this, that this was a real phenomenon, that this was the first time this level of this level of intelligence had been shared with the public, and that the format was, on the 8chan was
into
taking intelligence.
Extend.
Cool. This is the clip I was going to try to find next. I should find the one where he says Rothschilds too. I used to have all these in a playlist on my YouTube that was banned.
Jerome Corsi and his extensive connections in the Middle East,
Israel,
where he served as an advisor to the State Department and more, in a lot of classified areas we can't get into.
CNP, Rockefeller. Rockefeller, there's a Rockefeller museum in Israel that has a model replica of the Third Temple. Yeah.
As major breaking news exclusive right now.
This was 2017.
Dr. Corsi, thanks for giving Infowars the exclusive.
Well, Alex, it's great. I'm actually today in Nashville, Tennessee, and working with a really important cybersecurity company. And I just got text.
Cybersecurity, from, Israel.
Top intelligence in Israel. Israel has nominated Donald Trump for the 2017 Peace Prize. He was nominated last year. There's about 200 nominations, but this is in advance of Netanyahu, Prime Minister Netanyahu's visit with Trump, which is coming up in the next few days. And Israel has decided to make this nomination basically on the decision to move the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem and the fact that Donald Trump has had the courage of his convictions. Again, another promise in the campaign being fulfilled.
Another promise fulfilled, the embassy to Jerusalem. Like, that's America first, like we care.
Taking, I think, an historic, maybe even biblical step to legitimate the state of Israel.
A biblical step. Biblical Trump. Biblical. The embassy is about the third temple and the second coming of Jesus for these apocalyptic rapture fanatics.
And the way I read the Bible basically says those who help Israel, God helps, and Donald Trump's on the right side here.
Bless Israel and you shall be blessed.
Well, certainly providence that he invoked during the inaugural speech is with our republic. And of course, England began to help the Jews when they were being persecuted going back 1,000 years ago in Europe. And of course, it's been known since then. That's why England had so much great providence.
Did you hear Alex Jones say that England's had great providence because they helped the Jews?
And also, of course, the Christian faith and Christ being number one. But that covenant has clearly been passed on, not just to all the Gentiles of the world through Christ, but particularly to England and the United States. Historians, even people that are anti-Western, have marveled that the United States of America has a special providence, Dr. Corsi.
Because supporting Jews.
Even while we're talking, I mean, Israel, I just got another text message. I said we were going to break the news on Alex Jones' Infowars broadcast. They said one word. They said, great. They're thrilled we're going to break the news on Alex Jones' Infowars. And that comes directly from a source who's really above Mossad and the intelligence structure in Israel.
Yeah, so folks are really getting things raw here on air now.
Yeah, and so this is really, this is coming in as we're talking.
Yeah, so folks are really getting things raw here on air now.
That's the I'm busted as a Zionist propagandist agent now. And like I said, in the last few years, he doesn't even try to hide it anymore at all. He doesn't care. Complete mask off.
How did you get Donald Trump on your show prior to the election? How did you pull that off?
All right. I never tell this on my own show, and this will probably end up being news tomorrow, but you deserve it. I know folks that are part of Delta Force, and I know people that are part of covert action in the Defense Department and the CIA. And quite frankly, they've given me authorization to talk about this. I have never been in the CIA. I have never been part of covert operations, but I was basically contacted by groups inside Special Forces operations in Florida, inside breakaway groups inside the
breakaway groups. This is the whole QAnon narrative. And all of the logos of these groups all have the tip of the spear. And Alex Jones always says, tip of the spear, tip of the spear. It's almost like they've had this thing planned for decades. Trump, the alternative media control with Alex Jones. Delta Force in Tampa, Florida. Special Operations Command. SOCOM.
Central Intelligence Agency and groups.
Mind War, Michael Aquino, exactly.
Industry that wanted to defeat the globalists and they're planning to bankrupt America. Okay. And so they told me that they were
I just got to show you these. So this is the Army. He says it's the Army, the white hats in the Army. Psychological operations in the Army. Civil Affairs Brigade, waging conventional warfare and counterinsurgency. Command also Psychological Operations Group tasked to work with a foreign nations, Israel, to induce or reinforce behavior favorable to U.S., so ZOG, objectives. And again, the sword, the tip of the spear.
Basically behind American industry that wanted to defeat the globalists and they're planning to bankrupt America. And so they told me that they were advising Trump on the globalist takeover, and that they understood from their demographics and their studies that
Cambridge
we
Analytica
actually had conservatively 15 million people a week visiting Infowars.com and tens of millions watching our videos.
Group
that they had briefed the president, or now then candidate Trump, and that they wanted to attempt a counter coup against the globalists.
But this is what got Donald Trump to say, I got to be on this guy's show?
And then Jones goes, "Oh yeah, it's either you're with the Zionist or you're with the Chi-Coms." Meanwhile, Israel works closely with China.
Donald Trump was advised by the Special Forces Command out of Florida. They said
to go on your program.
I mean, that's who actually. I mean, let's just say it, the enemy already knows all this. Let me just say, so everybody listening knows I'm telling the truth. Special Operations Command in Florida, the Delta Force, Army, Black Ops. Army's the oldest thing in America. It's before the Constitution, anything. They said, sir, you need to go with Alex Jones, and you need to rally the troops. And they briefed him. They showed him the doc.
Good point. One of many. If this doesn't prove to people, I mean, well, they just won't see the video. I'm censored off of YouTube and heavily shadow banned and suppressed everywhere. And there's not a lot of people out there with the courage to talk about this kind of stuff. And a lot of the ones that do are crazy. And but if this doesn't prove to people what I've showed in this last hour, just nothing will.
And they said, we need you to run. And the Delta Force basically asked Trump. Delta Force, founded by General Boykin and Schumacher and people like Dr. C. Pieczenik of Psychological Operations.
Boykin, Pieczenik, it's all the people involved with this PSYOP.
The CIA.
Dr. Pieczenik, again, I mean, you don't do a lot of other interviews. You've been nice to come on my show for 15 years. It's on record with General Boykin and with Schumacher. You helped found Delta Force, Black Ops, ran psychological warfare, overthrown 8 countries. You're the Jack Ryan character, co-wrote books with Clancy.
Oh yeah, there's a video going around. Apparently there's a Tom Clancy video game that closely resembles what's going on right now with the pandemic. And Tom Clancy was in Council for National Policy. Got that from We've Read the Documents.
Good producer, you've done it all. Psychiatrist, MIT scientist, military officer, all that secret, obviously, in your history. But here you are saying you represent the intelligence community, and I check with people, generals, colonels, they go, absolutely, Pieczenik's on target. That's exactly what all our sources from the FBI and the Pentagon, which means the CIA connected Pentagon, that's special operations, that's what they told us. And these are the good guys that continue to give us good info. It doesn't mean the whole thing's good.
The good guys that are all Zionist and Christian evangelical CNPers, Council for National Policy members.
Infowars is the tip of the spear, the tip of the spear, the tip of the spear. Oh, Alex Jones is wrong about Anthony Bourdain. Hey, Joe, I talked to the people that were there in the production at the highest levels.
Notice Anthony Bourdain was talking about Black Cube, Israeli private intelligence. Black Cube, that's who Isaac Cappy was talking a lot about, all these Zionist, this Zionist network and Black Cube before he supposedly committed suicide.
They're involved in the Pentagon, everything else. I know all about it. Elon Musk. I mean, Joe, I'm not going to tell you, who I talked to yesterday or who I talked to this afternoon. So just let's quit pretending that we aren't the tip of the spear.
Tip of the spear.
Let's quit pretending that we aren't the tip of the spear.
The tip of the spear. The tip of the spear.
The tip of the spear. The tip of the spear.
They basically delivered the message to Trump with all the dossiers.
Okay, I'm going to have to repost that because I don't even know if that's on the internet anymore. That might have been before I was doing stuff to BitChute. Here's one more, though. I mentioned this.
David,
he frames it that like, oh, the Israelis come to our rescue. Here comes Netanyahu and the cavalry to save us, and the good guys in the Israeli lobby want to help America and Trump, and the Rothschilds are giving wealth back to the people. Horrible Alex Jones impression. I can't.
Rockefeller, the omnibudsman of the globalist. David Rockefeller, the omnibudsman of the globalist, the founder of Bilderberg. I know you said 4 or 5 years ago he wasn't really running things anymore. 101 dies 2 weeks ago. Another bellwether of this. Talk about David Rockefeller, and then who from your research do you think is the leader of the New World Order, or are they still contending?
Alex, I think it's very important also to understand that when you're talking about these elitist circles, who's actually running the system. Donald Trump, and I'm going to get to Rockefeller in a second, represents the latest and the most desperate attempt by one part of the world's elitist circles to survive this economic Armageddon that is upon us. Trump versus Clinton was the fight.
Did you hear what they said? Armageddon.
Part of the world's elitist circles to survive this economic Armageddon that is upon us. Trump versus Rothschilds, behind Trump against the Rockefellers, behind the world's supranational power structures, the Rothschilds behind Trump, against the Rockefellers behind the Clinton. That said, neither the Rockefeller family nor the Rothschild family represent true power above them. You know, above the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds, we have the Astors, the Lodges, the Flemings, the Grosvenors, the Mathesons, the Keswicks, whose fortunes are measured and counted in trillions of dollars. Trump represents a change in the paradigm of society as we have never seen in the history of humanity. The way things stand right now, Alex, the elite arrival
are backing Trump.
Here we go.
A new world, not a new world order, but rather a new world struggling to be.
No, this is Mr. Anti-New World Order was put in place to as a Judas Goat controlled opposition disinfo agent, Alex Jones. And now he's promoting all the group, the real globalists, the Zionist New World Order. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to put together that one world government, one world religion, one world currency, mark of the beast is all Zionist end times prophecy, that these Christians and Jews, fanatical end times, are working together to bring on the Armageddon.
Unsure of its true.
So you're saying Rothschilds are backing Trump versus the eugenics-based Rockefellers?
Exactly. If you kind of look at the people behind,
I got told by my CIA sources 3 years ago. They said
you got told by your CIA sources that the Rothschilds were backing Trump. He was bailed out by Wilbur Ross in the early 1990s. Wilbur Ross at the time was the top Rothschild bankruptcy lawyer.
You know, you're bashing the Rothschilds. Watch what they're about to do. They're going to try to actually give wealth back to the people, not because they're even good. They don't want a total worldwide bloodbath.
It just
Rothschild. I've played this so many times, but I don't know how he gets away with this.
At this time, their interests coincide with our interests because, again, behind Clinton, you have the Rockefellers, the transnational bankers, which is the World Company Limited, the globalist, non-American, or American power elite circles.
This is the Bilderberg. I'm not sure if he Illuminati exposer like that other. Forget him. I don't even talk.
George Soros, Hollywood, etc. Against the people.
So are you saying this is
against the Zionists, the Rothschilds, and who are all working with China?
The Rockefeller elite trying to bring down Trump?
Well, the people above Rockefeller level, and then the people are backing Donald Trump are the non-American financier circles centered in the city of London, Hong Kong, World Center for Money Laundering, Drugs, Intelligence, and British Control, leftover elite circles of the British Empire, the Rothschilds, European elite represented by the old European aristocracy, such as the houses of Sage-Coburg.
So all these people, all these top-level Gentiles at the very top, he tries to spin it as, and doesn't mention the Zionists, AIPAC, Sheldon Adelson,
Hungarian aristocracy, and also Ottoman nobility, as well as the Venetian black nobility. And then on a smaller scale, you have
Venetian black nobility, the Jesuits. We're going to get more into that in a minute here. But the good guys, says Corsi, who was Israeli intelligence. I showed you. That's who he was colluding with Roger Stone. Okay, we've got a part 2 here, I believe. Let's see.
And Democrats were so corrupt that he had to rely on...
Okay, then give us a timeline. We're 50 days out. What do you expect to start seeing?
By December 14th, you're going to see the electoral colleges go back to Trump. Basically, he will remain in power in January. You have special forces, a unit underneath now the Secretary of Defense, Miller. We've deployed all types...
By the way, you did say a month ago, right before the election, you said, watch, they're about to replace the Secretary of Defense, all that. You said 2 months ago it happened. So tell me what's going on with that, because that got the left really scared.
Well, it's not an accident. I don't make prognostications like that. I said Gina Haspel has to go. She left, but there's going to be more serious repercussions for the CIA. Esper had to go. He's left. The CIA and Brennan, Obama, Clinton, and the Bushes have to be held accountable. This is what you're watching.
They claim that he's like the big guy, the insider that exposed 9/11. I've gone back and listened to some of the tapes, and he was blaming Bush. He blames it on Bush, and he says that it was he does implicate Mossad, which gives him a little bit of credibility so that people will swallow the rest of his lies.
Is that what Brennan said 2 weeks ago? Trump's more dangerous than ever. Must be removed now. We can't leave him in until the inauguration. Because he looks scared. He's always looked very arrogant, Brennan does. He looks scared now.
He has to be scared because he knows that the military intelligence, the people I work with, the Keith Alexanders, and he was put...
The military intelligence. He works with military intelligence. Look at this. Speaking of Brennan, they're always making up attacking Brennan. And I'm not defending him by any means. But where... I have an article about Brennan. Where is it? There it is. Former CIA chief. This just came out today. CIA chief Netanyahu is not an ethical man. You can say that again. That's a bit of an understatement.
Keith Alexander went just before at the same time to Amazon. Now, the reason we put him in Amazon is because Amazon is the largest private cloud computing service in the world. At the same time, we have his protege, Nakasone, in the White House. At the same time, I've got Boykin Special Forces.
The Jedi cloud contract that they're trying to give the Pentagon, where the servers are going to be controlled by Israel cybersecurity companies.
Underneath Miller, who brought in the Special Forces and took it out of the Department of Defense and under the Army and brought it right to the top. So everything I told you is happening right now. The fact that you're getting excited, I can't help that, Alex. I am what I am. I'm a person who says what I know. I can't make up the stories. If I did, that's why I sell fiction underneath the Clancy.
No, I hear you. Well, I mean, I know this. I got contacted by the White House, and they told me, look into this company, look into the Chinese, and sure as hell it was all there. And now we're breaking it. So, I mean, I think that just means they probably went to Fox and everybody else wouldn't break it. But this is the total proof on Infowars.com right now. I mean, Dr. Pieczenik, is that not bombshell that the Chinese put in $400 million into Dominion a month before the election?
No. And the reason why is we knew that Dominion was corrupt. We understood exactly what the Chinese and Xi Jinping did. Actually, believe it or not, because of your show and that video that I did with you, it was sent to China. And believe it or not, I got a call from what I call my Chinese nanny, who's been my control officer in China for the past 30 years. That means President Xi and the Public Bureau of Safety in China personally had to call me up 3 weeks ago because of the show that I went on your show, Alex, to explain that they are not looking for any trouble, to say that it was an excellent show, meaning that they don't want to get into a problem situation. Whatever their investments are in Dominion,
So weird. He's getting contacts from China and the president of China. And yeah, he wrote with Tom Clancy fiction. It's called The Division, is the game that people are comparing to COVID. Let's see what this is.
There's a sickness coming. You can't hide from it. High walls and guns won't protect you from it. Nobody will escape when we unleash this poison onto the city.
Okay. All right. I wonder if there's more than that. But anyway, let's move on now to more of the biblical. How Steve Pieczenik and QAnon and all of these Zionists are pushing biblical Trump. It's going to be biblical. Here is right-wing pastor says the treasonous coup, just like they're all Pieczenik saying, allegedly steal the election from Trump is spiritual warfare at the highest levels during the end times.
Yeah. There is far more at play. This is not a Democrat or a Republican issue. This is way bigger than that. This is warfare. It is cyber warfare at the very least. It is more than that. It's spiritual warfare at the highest levels manifesting itself, but it's in the context of these end days where deception comes forth. The man of sin is ultimately revealed, and all of this is set up ultimately where the justice of God is brought against the nation, the God-defying nations of the world, as they ultimately focus their attention on Israel, and God takes care of them on the plains of Megiddo. This is going to happen. That's what the Bible says. We're in these stages. We have to view it in this larger sense, I believe. While we look at these things that occur day by day, we got to back up, put it in the bigger picture. There is far more.
Okay, there's one. Here we have right-wing conspiracy theorist retired General Thomas McClerney calls on Trump to impose martial law, cancel the Electoral College and inauguration, suspend habeas corpus, and arrest Democrats for treason for allegedly stealing the election. So all of these, like there's General Flynn, arch neocon, wrote a book with top PNAC neocon Michael Ledeen. He's the new movie about Flynn. That's the latest pardon. Trump pardoned Roger Stone. He pardoned Scooter Libby, that another neocon. He pardoned the meth slaughterhouse Orthodox Rabbi Rubishkin. Let Pollard go back to Israel, the Israeli spy.
It was the greatest travesty in our history. It was treason. And I want the president to declare that. And I want the president to execute his executive order of September 2018, as well as the Insurrection Act. I want him to declare martial law until we resolve this issue. I want him to cancel.
Declare martial law. This is the thing that Alex Jones has always been supposedly exposing, martial law and the New World Order. And now he's literally greasing the skids for it to come in, calling for arrests and tribunals and martial law and all types of stuff like that. And I'm not the only one that's noticed this. Many people have. They do want a civil war. They want a world war.
The Electoral College on the 14th of December, as well as the inauguration. The founding fathers didn't know about cyber warfare, and they put in a schedule that cyber warfare in our current courts that move at a glacial pace cannot seem to resolve or even understand. And it is so obvious, Dr. Chaps, that the nation this will be the last free election we have unless he takes these actions. And I believe it's extremely important that he do this and we get people investigating this. I would start arresting him right away. I would declare martial law, as I mentioned, and the reason this is important because we need to arrest those people that we have, and I'd suspend habeas corpus so we could try them, get them to tell what they did, and some will talk. There were too many people.
So there's another one. That's what they're pushing in all of these Q circles. Here's Trump imagines that the day of his reelection would be, quote, one of the biggest dates in the history of religion, is what he says. Trump asked pastors and says it's the biggest day on the history of religion. Sidney Powell, the top lawyer who's doing the Stop the Steal lawsuits of voter fraud, is on Newsmax. Newsmax is owned by Paul Ruddy. He's another counsel for national policy, evangelical Zionist that has been a longtime friend of Trump and member of Mar-a-Lago. Sidney Powell, she was in the Flynn, the Plot Against the President documentary, the pro-Flynn pushing for him to get a pardon and pushing all this coup against the president stuff. Very similar to the whole Jew coup that True News was pointing out. She says it's going to be biblical.
Investigation. What more could you tell us about that alleged?
Newsmax is the one who published Dershowitz's article about how Maria Farmer he didn't rape her. She's just an anti-Semite. That's who Newsmax is.
Conspiracy. The governor's involved. I can't give you any more details on that now, but it would certainly warrant an investigation. If it had been reported to me as a law enforcement officer, I would be investigating it steadfastly. You know, I know you say you want to do your arguing in court. You are an attorney. You're not a press secretary, but you all did have a press conference last week. Jordan Sekelo said that there's going to be a filing soon in Georgia that would be explosive. Can you tell us anything? Can you make some news with us here tonight? Tell us anything new that you're going to present in that filing in Georgia. Well, I can't say that yet, but hopefully this week we will get it ready to file.
Sydney,
it will be biblical.
It will be biblical.
And it will be biblical.
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 What more could you tell us?
And it's funny because at first Trump tweeted out that she was a part of his legal team, and then they released a statement that she wasn't part of the legal team. But she's showing up at these events with Nick Fuentes and Ali Alexander and Alex Jones that are pushing this whole thing. RT reports today, you've probably been seeing in the news that there's these little monoliths that have been popping up around the world. Well, apparently there was one in California. I didn't read what part of California. I don't know if it says. It reminds people, it's Pine Mountain. I don't know where that's at. It reminds people of Stanley Kubrick's Space Odyssey. Alex Jones has connections to, is it Stanley Kubrick? It is. Who did Eyes Wide Shut, about the Illuminati. And Alex Jones interviewed his daughter. Alex Jones. And didn't Stanley Kubrick make the movie with Alex Jones in it? What was that called? He made Clockwork Orange. What was the name of that movie? The chat will know. It's like a cartoon with Alex Jones. I pretty think it's Stanley Kubrick, but it might be somebody else. I'm getting it mixed up. Anyway, here's some groypers getting Nick Fuentes in the news. Christ is King. Youth chanting America First. Destroy the California monolith. Replace it with a cross. Video. Look at these chads. All right, guys? That's the lingo. Scanner Darkly. That's Kubrick? Scanner Darkly? 2006. This helped put Alex Jones on the map. This was the first time I ever saw Alex Jones, actually. I had to watch this movie in a junior college class on philosophy. Scanner Darkly. It's a cartoon. I want to make sure. Oh, Richard Linklater. I'm getting him mixed up with Kubrick. Idiot. Anyway, let's play this video.
So-called alien obelisks and more of
obelisk.
The cross right here. Because Christ is king of this country. We don't want illegal aliens from Mexico or outer space. So let's tear this bitch down. Come on.
Good one.
Go, boys. Christ is king. Christ is king. Christ is king. Christ is king.
It's like bolted down right here.
America first.
Alright, what do we got here?
Pull up. Now he's pulled out.
Here. Oh, here, let me try to push it over the other way.
We're gonna have to dig it out.
Cringe.
Wait.
Cringe monolith destroyed.
Rotate it like that. So-called alien obelisks and more.
Okay, let's see what this one is. Oh, shoot. 80,000 views.
The cross right here. Because Christ is king of this country.
Wait.
Okay, that's the same one we just watched. What is going on here?
So-called alien.
Okay, look at what they have in this article here about Nick Fuentes. Somebody else. Okay, that's the other one that was up. Where is it? What? Hold on. There it is. The group's chants and slang suggest that they were part of the, quote, Groyper movement, a predominantly Generation Z collective of online right-wingers and meme posters that sprung up in the wake of President Donald Trump's 2016 win. Pundit Nick Fuentes is probably the most recognizable figurehead in the movement. Notice they don't call them extremist, white supremacist. They don't call Nick Fuentes a Holocaust denier. They call him a pundit. So some very favorable coverage from RT. Russia, QAnon. I remember that there was a story about how there was some Russians that were pushing QAnon. And when you think of Russia, you think of Putin, Netanyahu. Here it is. QAnon posts were promoted by Russian-linked accounts. Russian-backed organizations amplify QAnon conspiracy. Chabad Lubavitch is over there behind Putin, Netanyahu, and Trump. Putin was brought to power by Roman Abramovich after he was a longtime KGB, FSB. Roman Abramovich, one of the biggest donors worldwide to Chabad Lubavitch. And now he's got his Putin's Rabbi Burrell Lazar over there. Russian-backed organizations amplifying QAnon conspiracy theory, researchers say. I'm sure it's coming out of Unit 8200 and Russia. Wouldn't doubt it. But anyway, favorable coverage here on RT. It's funny that they knew that they were Groypers just from the chants. Let me show you guys this real quick. I've got a couple clips here of these chants. I recognize it too when I saw the headline. This is at one of the Stop the Steal rallies. Excuse me. Nick Fuentes.
Christ is king! Christ is king! Christ is king! Christ is king!
There's Fuentes in the middle.
Christ is king! Christ is king! Christ
There we go. We're here live, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just letting it go.
This is the battle.
And that was Killstream, Ethan Ralph with the live stream there. And then there's this one too. Remember the biblical thing that we're talking about? Now watch this. And this is at another Stop the Steal rally. Is this like the talking point or the narrative, or is this just coincidence?
Or when President
I mean, I appreciate that Fuentes will call out the Zionists and Jewish power, but still at the end of the day, you're just wholeheartedly supporting Trump, who's surrounded himself with these Zionists, has signed executive orders making anti-Semitism illegal, that has given Israel everything they want the last 4 years. And then now, even in the last 2 months, they're trying to accelerate and give it even more.
Or when President Trump is inaugurated on
trying to help Alex Jones with his credibility. Or maybe just using Alex Jones to steal his audience and hopefully take them in a more critical of Zionism agenda. But people that are Alex Jones proteges and standing shoulder to shoulder with the fraud Alex Jones, I'm not going to let it go uncriticized.
Or when President Trump is inaugurated on January 20th. When he is inaugurated on January 20th, 2021, I want to see his administration go biblical on these people.
Biblical. So, let's see what we have next here. Oops, that's the wrong one. Here's another one. Trump retweeted this guy saying that Trump was anointed by God. Remember, Trump said he was the chosen one.
I believe that Donald Trump was sent. I'm not kidding. I truly believe that Donald Trump was sent by God. True. He's not perfect. He's a sinner. But if you read the Bible, so was Moses, so was David, so was everybody. I'm not kidding. I truly believe that Donald Trump was sent by God.
This is the narrative that they're pushing everywhere. And something I forgot to mention, I heard, I don't have the clip, but I heard that one of the chants that Fuentes got going at one of these events was, or that he said, Netanyahu will bow down and declare Jesus as king. And he said that he didn't think some of the people liked that. I thought that was pretty funny. Okay, so Donald Trump says, thank you, anointed by God, thank you. He's the chosen one. Here's CBN, Christian Broadcast Network, says, ask President Trump, did God pick you for such a time as this? This is what all of these people have been pushing. Biblical Trump, Miriam Adelson.
Same answer. I say, Sanders this, Mike Pompeo, they all give me the same answer. I say, was President Trump put in office for such a time as this? Did God put President Trump in office for such a time as this? I never asked you that question. What do you think?
Well, I don't know what they said.
They said yes.
Okay, because I have had Ben Carson said the same thing. You know, Ben Carson came to me because he ran a very effective campaign. And he did a good job. He really did. You know, he came in one of the top people. And he said to me, you know you're going to win. I said, Ben, I'm running against you. What are you telling me? He said, you're going to win because God put you here for this occasion. I said, what a lovely thing to say. That was the first one that I heard it from, Ben Carson. And it was during the campaign. I was running against him, and he was saying, I'm going to win. He's a very high-quality guy. He's done a great job in the administration.
Do you buy that? Do you buy what he was saying?
I almost don't even want to think about it because you know what? All I'm going to do is, I hope it's true. All I'm going to do is I'm going to do my best.
You hope it's true that he's chosen.
Of what I'm doing my best on is.
Jones has been promoting this same thing too, that Trump was anointed by God and Trump is doing biblical things.
For the religious community, beyond evangelical. Evangelicals are a very big part. It's very important to me.
Beyond evangelical. That's a little nod and a hat tip to you-know-who, the Chabad Lubavitchers.
You know, we have great support. I was so honored when Franklin Graham said that his father voted for me. And that was something that Billy Graham has never announced who he was voting for. But Franklin Graham said his father voted for him. He went public with it, as you know. To me, that was a big moment because I have such respect for Franklin.
John Hagee, the head of Christians United for Israel, Kufi, he came out just recently that he got $1 million that he failed to declare to the government from the state of Israel. The state of Israel is paying John Hagee and Kufi to push IDF and Zionist end times Israel worship propaganda on Christians in America.
And for the family, and Billy Graham is Billy Graham, right? But when he said that his last vote was for me, and his father never announced who he was voting for, would never talk about it. No, I think I have great support. There's a lot of hidden support. People in our country that don't riot, that don't protest, that don't, they work hard. they never had a voice until I came, meaning over the last long period of time. We call them the forgotten men and women. They were the forgotten. They were very successful. They do a great
Falwell got the private jet from Menachem Begin too to push Christian Zionism.
job. They're smart. They have everything, but they were forgotten by the politicians.
Okay, so there's that. Let's see what's the next one is here. Ivanka Trump prays at Lubavitcher Rebbe's grave. She did it back in 2016 and in 2020. She converted, and they call her Queen Esther, which means that she's going to use her position with the king to destroy their own people, to destroy Edom. They call Trump the head of Edom. I mean, this stuff is so huge, and the fact that there's almost nobody talking about it but me is just atrocious and just discouraging, terrifying. Sanhedrin asked God to re-elect Trump, says Israel 365 News. So he will help them with their end times prophecies. All the rabbis endorsed Trump in unprecedented letter. He says, "Thank you, rabbis." Trump, this is why I thought Trump was going to win. And it looks like, I think that they are going to prove some kind of fraud and Trump is going to stay in now. I'm starting to think that either America is going to crumble or there's going to be chaos and purge situation, purge election year 2020. Remember that Kushner hired the publicist from Blumhouse Productions, the Blumhouse Productions who made the movie about liberals hunting conservatives and all the anti-white movies with Peele, Key and Peele. I think that's his name. Can't remember which one. But hold on, let's play this clip here. Oh, let's play that. Show the Hagee things too. I mentioned that. U.S. pro-Israel groups failed to disclose grants from the Israeli government. That's goofy. Israeli government's gifts. No, they're buying off people to push their propaganda. More than $1 million each to Christians United for Israel. This was released because a politician not from the Likud party took over the ministry and dropped its long-standing stance against releasing its public records, buying off Christian leaders in America as propagandists. Now, this is what they're doing. They want Trump and they want their end times, Gog and Magog, Third Temple, Noahide laws, shutting down all criticism of the chosen ones. They want the war between the sons of light and the sons of darkness. A little compilation I put up on Twitter the other day. Here we go.
There are quite a number of documents from the Qumran sect that speak about messianism, one of them being the scroll of the war of the sons of light against the sons of darkness. There are 2 points of view regarding...
Let me pause this. This is from a lecture by a rabbi about, it's called Christianity, Judaism, and the Dead Sea Scrolls, I think what it was called. It says, so the war... these scrolls contain an apocalyptic prophecy. Sons of light versus sons of darkness. Between the sons of the war described as the battle of the sons of light, consisting of the sons of Levi, sons of Judah, and the sons of Benjamin. Those are the tribes of the Jews believe they descended from. And the exiled of the desert against Edom. They think Edom is Esau, is the Gentiles, but more specifically is the Christian Europeans, the new Rome. The Amalekites, that's the descendant of Esau, their most hated enemy. I have a whole video, link below, of the Amalek, how they want to destroy anybody that opposes them. And they're referred to collectively as the army of Belial. Belial is associated with Satan in their Kabbalistic origin stories, and they believe all Gentiles are impure. They are the darkness. They are the antithesis and the evil to the Jews in the world. Sons of light, now the united 12 tribes of Israel, conquering the nations of vanity. In the end, all of the darkness is to be destroyed, and light will live in peace for all eternity. And this is the terms that Trump uses in all of his speeches, the light and the darkness. This is what QAnon is pushing, the light and the darkness.
Regarding messianism and Judaism. One is that the messianic era could be brought about by the slow improvement of the world until God would send his Redeemer. The other one is that there would be a catastrophe because the world was about to blow up.
So in Israel, they have the Shrine of the Book. It's a museum in Israel that holds the first 7 scrolls of the Dead Sea Scrolls, and the architecture there.
And at that time, God would somehow...
Shrine of the Book complex. Here's they have a coin with this. It's supposed to resemble a pot. They were the scrolls were found in pots, and it says the first 7 scrolls. This is from their official website. The dome embodies the lids of the jars in which the scrolls were found. This symbolic building, a kind of sanctuary intended to express profound spiritual meaning. The contrast between the white dome and the black wall alongside it alludes to the tension evident in the scrolls between the spiritual world of the sons of light and the sons of darkness. They have a whole museum. The architecture there is dedicated to this end times war.
Somehow have to intervene, Deus Ex Machina, and redeem the
Sanhedrin mints coin for the battle of the army of light against the army of darkness.
World before being destroyed.
There's the coin with the 2 Moshiach ben Yosefs, or Ben Yosef or Ben David, or whatever archetype they want to put on these guys. War of the sons of light against the sons of darkness coin.
Latter type is what these sectarians believed in. It's the idea of the war of Gog and Magog, or Armageddon, and all that.
Armageddon. Everybody heard it pronounced like that? Here's Chabad.org, Kabbalah Online. Terror in our time. The end of days. They talk about Gog and Magog. That has to happen when the Amalek is destroyed. The light destroys the darkness. In other words, the Jews destroy the Gentiles. Everyone but the Noahides that will serve them. It's written in the Zohar that before salvation, massive wars will be in the world between Edom and Ishmael. That's the Christians and Europeans and the Muslim world. Putin, Trump, 7 Muslim countries. Very tough wars fight in the world. Edom, America, in the West, and Ishmael. Thank God for the big war between all the Gentiles. They're in the very advanced in this stage. Somebody in the crowd asked, where are we in this? He goes, we are in the middle. We are instigating all of it and making it, fulfilling the prophecy of the war and Gog and Magog. Getting the 2 religions that came from the Hebrew Torah, Islam and Christianity, to war with each other. And the people instigating it in the middle will rise from the ashes and rule the world from the dust. In the world to come, the Messianic era. Exactly in the middle. They will fight such a war, deadliest ever. And all the Christians want all this to happen so that Jesus will come back. They want to put the Antichrist into power, build up Israel as a world power with the mark of the beast and the 3rd temple and everything. They'll realize it was the Jews that were behind it. Oh, everybody blames Jews for everything, for no reason. As he's talking about a major war where all the Gentiles will kill each other, he goes, oh, they want to blame us for everything. Talk about the disconnect. They also believe that Ishmael is the waste product of Isaac, and that Esau is the waste product of Abraham, and Esau is the waste product of Isaac. And that we hate them for no reason because we're jealous that they're chosen. They will come onto Israel, the 70 nations, Gog and Magog. They don't need nothing. Don't be frightened. Everything is going in this direction. I did a whole video with Björkness, War of the Sons of Light against the Sons of Darkness on that. I covered this in a video a couple days ago. Okay, so this is interesting. A little astrotheology here. Here's Fox 5 is reporting 7 hours ago. Jupiter and Saturn, remember Saturn, the Sabbath, Satan, all the connections with the black cube and Saturn, and you guys know about that stuff. Jupiter and Saturn to align in the sky this month as Christmas star. Pretty interesting. Astrology, here's JH5, one of my favorite follows on Twitter. He says that the last time Saturn stationed retrograde in the 21st degree of Capricorn was in 1666, the year of the Great Fire of London. Saturn is now in the same degree, will station retrograde there on April 29th. And tragically, we have a fire at Notre Dame. Astrology. Remember, there was Israeli rabbi saying that the fire was retribution for them burning the Talmud in France and expelling them. Chabad.org says that the year 1666, nearly all of the world's Jews were followers of Sabbatai Zevi. Very interesting. The name related to the Sabbath and Saturn. Jupiter and Saturn make a conjunction in the zodiac sign of Aquarius on December 21st, 2020. This marks the first time the conjunction has been in Aquarius since the year 1405. Remember, Bjerknes talks about in his book, Beware the World to Come, how the Christian age, the time of the Gentiles, is Pisces. And before that, it was Aries and Taurus, the bull. And then now we're moving into Aquarius. That's the Messianic age, the 7th millennium. They believe, the Kabbalists believe, that the world will end after 6,000 years. And on the 7th day, this is why they don't work on the Sabbath, is to remember the time to come. Well, they will inherit the earth and they won't have to work because they'll be served by Esau, by the Gentiles who become Noahides and serve them and worship them. Okay, I'm not sure if I shared this yesterday. Let me know if you guys watched the show yesterday. Did I share this? But we have Tex Mars, the late Tex Mars, talking about Manly P. Hall, how he wrote about, top Freemason, wrote about the Hegelian dialectic. Look at the symbols on Manly P. Hall's book from 1922.
A lot of people ask me, Tex, is there proof that there exists this secret elite, this Masonic influence in the world today? I'm convinced there is, and they themselves admit this in many of their most august writings. For example, Manly P. Hall, who was called by the Scottish Rite, that is the largest distribution magazine in the Freemasonry world. Manly P. Hall died a few years ago, but he wrote many books, and he was called in the Scottish Rite Journal, was called the greatest Masonic scholar of the 20th century. Let me tell you what he wrote in one of his books. He talked about the Hegelian dialectic process.
So he talked about the Hegelian dialectic in one of his books, and in another book, he had the border around it with the swastika and the Star of David. And he talks about Hegelian dialectic, and he wrote this in 1922. I find that quite a coincidence. Top Freemason had this on his book in 1922. I'm doing a video. I've been researching a ton about Kabbalah and Freemasonry and all the links. I'll be doing that soon.
Which is he called the universal motion. And basically he talked about the fact that the whole world is being psychically driven to its destiny. But listen what he says about the elite, the Illuminati, the high-level Masons, even beyond, you might say, the 33rd degree. He says there exists in the world today, and has existed for thousands of years, a body of enlightened humans united in what might be termed an order of the quest. Mr. Hall said it is composed of those whose intellectual and spiritual perceptions have revealed to them that civilization has a secret destiny. Manly P. Hall, of course, would know these things because, as I said, he was called the greatest Masonic scholar of the 20th century and was a 33-degree Mason. One of the classic books he wrote is entitled The Secret Teachings of All Ages. Many people wonder aloud today, Freemasonry, is it Jewish? Can we say that it is comprised almost virtually of Jews? Well, one thing is for sure, it is controlled, I believe, behind the scenes by high-level Jewish interests. Now, Rabbi Isaac Wise, way back in 1855, had this to say. He stated, Freemasonry is a Jewish establishment whose history, grades, official appointments, passwords, and explanations are Jewish from beginning to end.
All right, so stay tuned for the Kabbalah and Freemasonry video that I'm going to do to expose the connections there. Washington Post reporter moves from covering Israel to working for Israel. Ruth Eglish new job should prompt review at her old place of work. So, work as a propagandist at the Washington Post. Remember, in the Al Jazeera lobby documentary, they exposed that the Washington Post works closely with AIPAC and all these Jewish groups on their headlines and on their stories and stuff. So she goes from covering Israel to going to work for Israel. That reminds me of Aaron Klein. Aaron Klein, Breitbart reporter, Infowars guest. Owen Schroyer is a big fan of Aaron Klein and Savage. Netanyahu hires Breitbart reporter Aaron Klein as new advisor. Appointments raise eyebrows as far-right author and radio talk show host has a history of attacking Democratic U.S. presidents and presidential hopefuls. Oh, that's the issue, that he's criticized liberals. What thread is this? Jacob Wool thread. Tommy Robinson. Okay. Now this is big. I didn't even know this. Just today, breaking news, White House Communications Director Alyssa Farah resigns. I saw that name Farah and I thought, wait a second. Is she related to Alyssa Farah, parents Joseph Farah? She was the political advisor who served at the White House Director of Strategic Communications and assistant to the president in 2020. She just started in April. She's already leaving now. But we got another Zionist propagandist. People are questioning her gender, but that's funny. Her parents is Joseph Farah and Elizabeth Farah. Joseph Farah, I saw the name, I was right. Joseph Farah is an American author, journalist, and editor-in-chief of the conservative website WorldNet Daily, where Jerome Corsi of Infowars, formerly of Infowars, used to work. Joseph Farah, WorldNet Daily, why I am an Arab Christian Zionist. So his daughter was there working in the White House. She resigned today, though. Probably rats leaving the sinking ship, possibly. Who knows what the deal is? Could be a million reasons why she's resigning. Maybe she just was incompetent or something. Who knows? But I put together a little thread here. More about her father. This is the type of people that Trump puts in the White House. Just Zion. There's all these new Zog agents in there that I never even knew about this girl. And of course, director of communications, Zionist plant, House majority. So this was back in 2003. Zionist Organization of America gives Joseph Farah the award for outstanding journalism concerning Israel and the Jewish people to Joseph Farah of the WorldNet Daily for his unfaltering pro-Zionist, pro-Israel stance. He's a temple fanatic. Here's some WorldNet Daily articles. Trump's Jerusalem declaration sparks talk of Third Temple. There's a documentary, a Christian Zionist documentary about the Third Temple, where Joseph Farah, the founder of WorldNet Daily, starts it off and goes, "Oh, we need to rebuild the temple so Jesus can return." And basically, that's a paraphrase, but that's what it was about. He's in the documentary. Here's another WorldNet Daily. Israeli politician wants Third Temple now. Temple fanatic. These are all different articles. Messianic preparations underway as Third Temple planned. This is who's the father. What's up, High Impact? Thanks for the donation and hosting too. If you're hosting me, I see you're hosting somebody, so I really appreciate that, bro. I shared your. You'll see it in a second. I'm going to announce your anomaly debate at the end here. Messianic preparations underway as Third Temple plan. Experts speak out on prophetic implications. This is WorldNet Daily exclusive. His daughter, White House, Director of Communications. WorldNet Daily, 7 days until dedication of Third Temple altar. The 70 nations invited to Jerusalem Sanhedrin declaration replace the UN. Look, there's Dr. Brown. Has an article right there next to the WorldNet Daily Third Temple. WorldNet Daily article, The Day Putin Prayed for Rebuilding the Temple. Joseph Farah, guest on Infowars at the beginning of the Trump era. 2 interviews here. There's probably more. This is just the screenshot that I got. They're all gone now because all of Alex Jones's YouTube were banned. Joseph Farah, WorldNet Daily, Ultra Zionist on Infowars, just like Aaron Klein, who's working for Netanyahu. But, Alex Jones, he's a patriot. He's not a Zionist agent, a Zionist shill. Jerome Corsi, who Infowars hired, used to work for WorldNet Daily. They're all CNP members as well. Was a longtime writer for WorldNet Daily. Remember Jerome Corsi pushing QAnon? Jerome Corsi, Roger Stone, emails with Jerusalem about 2016 collusion to help Trump win. Here he is, where he's saying, I just got a text message from top Israeli intelligence and they love Infowars. Here's WorldNet Daily again. Campaign launched to create gold crown for the Messiah. Yeah, that's not Jesus, guys. Just for all the Christians out there that are being duped by these frauds. This is the crown for Moshiach and the Antichrist to the Christians. This is what they believe. As a symbol of our belief that this period of waiting has ended. I mean, they might as well just chant, we want Moshiach now. There's Jerome Corsi talking about the good guys in the government. And translated in Hebrew. And he goes, Trump and Netanyahu, they're all getting the Nobel Peace Prize for the Abrahamic peace deal, setting up the New World Order. Northern Ireland Protestant politician nominates Netanyahu and bin Zayed, I think that's from UAE, for Nobel Peace Prize. Netanyahu, the Nobel Peace Prize. Not an ethical man, quite an understatement. Netanyahu's literally just organizing assassinations of Iranian scientists. But, of course, give him the Peace Prize. I'm sure that'll help peace, right? Bombing Gaza every week, basically. Shooting protesters at the fence in Palestine. Yeah, Netanyahu pushing for the war on terror. Yeah, let's give him the Peace Prize. Kissinger got the Peace Prize. Why not? Obama got the Peace Prize. Why not? Such a fraud. So fake. Somebody says, I wonder, was Nobel a Jew? I'm not sure.